Hello everyone and welcome to the Belt and Road Face to Face.
China stepped into this project and finally and recently we have announced that to start this project very soon.
These two questions should not be closely linked.
So we can utilize all of that kind of water which we are wasting every year just because of flooding.
The regional countries should have discussions and have cooperation.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Belt and Road Face to Face. Our program is co-produced by China Economic Net and Vash News Television. I'm Zoon Khan from China Economic and today I'm pleased to be joined in our studio by Professor Chung Shichong, who has served as the Defense Attaché in South Asian countries, and he's also a faculty member of the Southwest University of Politics and Law of China. And we also have with us Dr. Sajid Khurshid, who is Department Head at the Canadian International School in Beijing. Welcome both of you. Let's enter the first part of our program, Hotspot. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor CPEC Chairman Lieutenant General retired Asim Saleem Bajwa said on Wednesday that Prime Minister Imran Khan has inaugurated the construction work of the mega hydroelectric project, the Diamer-Basha Dam, which is a historic milestone million acres of the agriculture area in the country. So starting with you, Dr. Sajid, the start of the project has gone through a long process. I think we know in Pakistan the discussion on Diamer-Basha
started in January 2006.
So it's been a long journey so far. So what difficulties have been encountered in this journey?
Yes, before we discuss the difficulties, as we discussed this, it's been a long time, starting from January 2006. And the Diamer-Basha Dam is like 320 kilometers from the north and the border of China. And it would be the highest concrete and the tallest in the world if it is completed. As the struggling economy, the Pakistan asked the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and other financial allies to provide the financial support. But all of them, they've rejected because of the opposition of India about this dam. So it might have been almost kind of the end of the project, but the China stepped into this project and finally and recently we have announced that to start this project very soon, probably by the end of 2020 or the next year. If we are talking about the difficulties, mainly there are three main difficulties in this kind of a huge project as we discuss the figures. The first one is like the dispute over the total cost of construction. Because initially the WABDA said that it's about $40 billion, it's a huge amount. And later they have changed the figure 14 billion to 12 billion.
What has been
so 2 billion
change?
Because they wanted to change to reduce the cost of the construction and other kind of systems. So $2 billion is a huge amount gap itself. Secondly, there was a kind of like the opposition by the India. So this is one of the reason that the India considered it's the infringement of the territory's sovereignty. So the thing is, they don't want, and the allies countries and the financial supporters not to support Pakistan for this entire project. The third main reason, the factor including the potentially impede the progress of the dam is opposed by the local people. Because the local people of the Gilgit-Baltistan, where the dam site is actually located, they want 15 billion compensation of rupees, which is again a big amount for the government of Pakistan, and the Pakistani government refused to pay that amount. So that's why it's also one of the factor. And to some extent another factor would be like the residents of the protesting the destruction of the historical sites.
This will have impact on irrigation, agriculture
Yes.
as well. Can you elaborate a little bit? What will be the positive outcome of this project?
As we know that Diamer-Basha is a multi-purpose mega project and planned to develop by the Indus River on the both sides of the Chilash and the Gilgit-Baltistan in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the regions of the Pakistan. And it is the biggest ever project undertaken in Pakistan. It's so-called like Three Gorges Dam for Pakistan, the Chinese side, for example. And it's, as we discussed, like it's the most, the tallest in the world, because it's starting from the Gilgit valleys. And the Diamer-Basha facilities, if you're talking about the hydro facilities, consist of 2,250 megawatts each, combining of the underground powerhouses of 2 underground powerhouses, and each powerhouse has 6 turbo generators units of 375 megawatts each capacity. So it's a huge potential.
The scale is huge.
As exactly, if this is like that we are facing the shortage of the electricity in the country. We are facing the shortage of the load shedding every year, especially in summer, because the load is so much on the burden of the WABDA. If we have this kind of the project, which is a huge amount of the power that we're getting, I think we not only consume the country, and also we can be able to even to provide capacities.
Okay.
If you're talking about the drought, it's definitely helpful for the areas which are the drought, which having the droughts, and the water systems, the canal systems in our country, in particular that is coming from the north of Pakistan towards the central and the Punjab, and which is all agricultural area, and moving towards the Sindh and then the Arabian Sea, in fact. So we can utilize all of that kind of water which we are wasting every year just because of flooding. So this is a huge project and it's a huge potential.
We can have a great impact on the economy.
Of course, not only the economy,
I have
but the region.
summarized the 5 advantages.
Yes.
Okay.
So with the construction of this project, we can at least have 5 advantages.
Okay.
One is that this project is conducive to drought and water lodging prevention, and also improvement of hydrological environment. The second is that because, as I said, hydropower is cheaper than thermal. So I call it's welfare. So the local people can afford to use it. And the third is that it will promote the local economic development. The fourth is that because it's a huge project, and the construction will continue for many years.
Yes.
So it will promote steel, cement industries.
A lot of other industries as well.
Yeah. The fifth, and also create a lot of opportunities, as you mentioned, 16,000, I think more than that. The last point is that it will also promote tourism in the northern part of Pakistan, because such a big project, after completion, people like to have a look. And
even then, people in Mangla Dam go, very common even now. So it can become a nice tourist attraction as well.
Yes.
But Professor Chung, what is the risk? If you can go into what are the downsides of this kind of project? What could be the potential barriers?
For disadvantages, I think there are many too. One is that this is also closely linked with the political issues because of the disputed area between Pakistan and India. And also it's close to the line of control. So if something bad happens, that is within the capability of this kind of thing. I wish that would not happen, because this is economic development and that is a political issue. So these two questions should not be closely linked. Yeah. Another is that because this is in the lower part of the stream, and the upper part, if there is not enough water, then that will also affect generation of power. So I wish the regional countries, so far as the water resources are concerned, the regional countries should have discussions and have cooperation and looking after each other.
They are providing a very limited amount of energy to the different sectors and provinces.
We have to, have transmission lines established between the eastern part and central part and southern part.
we don't have that kind of technology to utilize those resources properly for the energy sectors.
Among the renewable energies, again, hydro is the main thing. So I wish, to see more and more hydro projects in Pakistan.
You're watching the Belt and Road Face to Face, and we're about to enter the second part of our program, Figure. Electricity supply. So what are the current energy difficulties in Pakistan, Dr. Sajid?
Yes, at present in Pakistan we are facing lots of energy difficulties. Like as I mentioned, that we have a shortage of electricity, power, load shedding, especially in summer because there's a huge load. And according to the figures that we are generating around 148.25 gigawatts energy, while the consumption of this is much higher than that. That's why the K Electric and the Wabra itself, they are providing a very limited amount of energy to the different sectors and provinces. This is what the reason is that recently, like the Karachi, for example, is full of like load shedding for a number of hours a day, which is really difficult for the people. And there are lots of firms, the small and medium firms, they cannot get the right amount of the electricity in order to start their production processes. So besides this, the people are facing, and they're working all day in different offices and business communities. When they come back in the evening, they don't find out the lights. They cannot start the air conditions and the fans even. So they started like anxiety and frustration into that. And that ultimately comes into their families and their businesses, which is not really good for the people, in fact. So by having such kind of projects, I think that's really a great idea to get these kind of things and be sufficient in all energy sectors, so it won't be a big problem.
It's a necessity.
It is a necessity.
Professor Chen, 2007 was the year that Pakistan was hit with an energy crisis. A lot of industry relocated to other parts of the region, in other countries. The issues, just as Dr. Sajid mentioned, are personal, people's psyche, people's well-being, but definitely on the economy, industrialization as well. But the problem is not only the generation of electricity, it is also the distribution lines.
Yes.
Can you comment? What will be the real solution actually?
Yes. So far as hydro power is concerned, your water resources are mainly in the eastern part. But the major cities are in the central part and the southern part. So if we have more and more hydro projects, then we have to have transmission lines established between the eastern part and central part and southern part. This is a problem. But thermal power stations that do not have this kind of problem. So far as energy is concerned, I say for development of a country, two things are most important. One is vein, one is blood. I consider like roads, railways development, that is the vein, and energy is the blood. So if we have good, we don't have good vein system and enough blood, then there won't be a development of the country. That's why in the first phase of CPEC, almost all the 22 projects are energy and infrastructure, roads, transportation and energy. So we have to establish the foundation for Pakistani future development. So far as the power is concerned, at present your thermal power is still the main thing. That is 60%. 60% is from thermal power stations. And for thermal power stations, you mainly use gas and oil. And Pakistan does not have enough,
Natural
natural resources of oil. You have to import gas and oil. So then you have to have enough foreign currency for import. Coal, you have coal resources. Pakistan, you are rich. You have enough. But there is technology. Technology is not up to that level to develop the coal industry. So that's why I think I've noticed the Pakistani government has also made a strategy to develop coal industry. So this is the main thing altogether. So more than 90% thermal and power and hydro. That is more than 90%, 93, 92%. So the rest is renewable energy. So among the renewable energies, again, hydro is the main thing. So I wish to see more and more hydro projects in Pakistan.
Okay, so Dr. Sajid, obviously we know that a few years ago Pakistan's main issue was that we wanted to improve our energy mix.
Yes.
We need to develop our natural resources. We are coal rich. We should be able to utilize that resource. But coming back to increasing the significance of raising the financing limit, what do you think has been the positive impact of that on developing renewables in the country?
In fact, Zoon, Pakistan is full of natural resources, especially we're starting from the north area towards the south. But the thing is that we don't have that kind of technology to utilize those resources properly for the energy sectors. Like coal, for example, we have a huge amount of coal reservoirs, are all there in the area. But the thing is that we need that energy to convert that coal systems into the energy. But furnace oil and other things which is really expensive, which is can't affordable. Besides this, they discussed the WAPDA blamed the Asian Development Bank as the delay of this project, why it's being delaying for a long time. Because Asian Development Bank, first they refused the project, and then secondly they refused to give them the loan for the financial assistance, because they claim that it's this kind of the project is located at the disputed territory between Pakistan and India. That's one of the reason, as India opposed. But I personally believe that as what the China is connecting with this project, but the point is that why we waited 15 years, 16 years for this entire big project. If we look at the examples of the China, for example, if you go to different places, if you go out of Beijing, you will find out a small kind of water reservoirs, and they reserve the water, and they prepare some kind of motors and some kind of electric systems to take the water up and just generate the energy. And the entire area is being distributed the electricity of that.
By the small setup.
But the small setup.
I
mean to say it's a cheaper one. We don't need a huge investment. We don't need to go for the international, financial institutions. We can ask the private sector to come up and invest. I know there are companies who are generating the electricity on a very small scales, but not only for their own purposes, even they are distributing, they are adding those energy to the national grid. So if we open up these kind of systems, give some incentives to those private parties and investors, I think there's a huge potential. Fine, this huge project is a milestone for the Pakistan history. Definitely we need to go that. But instead of waiting for a huge time, and we should go for the smaller levels, at least for their own individual points.
Because we lose so much in the process, debating, discussing.
And the people, they are wasting, they're looking for the electricity and load shedding stuff. It's not the years now, it's for years, it's a problem. The nutrition and the proteins that is in the camel milk is exactly the same as in the cow milk.
Camels, the number quite limited, and also production of camel milk is quite limited. So that's not enough for the population.
But the point is, the people, they don't have awareness of using the camel milk or its dairy products made of camel milk.
the materials, the food camels eat should be natural. If it's something chemical, that also affects the quality of the milk.
You're watching the Belt and Road Face to Face, and we're about to enter the third part of our program, culture. In the future. So first let's come to you, Professor Chen. Have you ever tried camel milk?
I experienced camels riding both in India, I think Rajasthan, also in Pakistan.
Karachi.
Yeah. So I've never tasted
camel meat?
Milk.
Not even
milk.
Camel meat?
No.
Dr. Sajid, have
I
you?
tasted the camel milk back in Pakistan. It has a sharp taste, but it's salty.
Strong,
And
salty.
It's salty, yes.
Salty.
Even the meat is also salty. If you eat the camel milk, camel meat, it's salty. Secondly, the fat level in the camel milk is slightly lower than the cow milk.
Even the sugar level is
Even the
lower.
sugar level. Plus, the nutritions and the proteins that is in the camel milk is exactly the same as in the cow milk.
So this is the thing, that it's healthier in many ways. And actually, for the first time yesterday, on one of my online apps, I saw lots of advertisements of camel milk. I was very surprised. So Professor Chen, do you notice this trend in China to shift towards?
We have to be careful, because now in supermarkets there are so many cans everywhere. The cans of milk powder. Camel milk powder is everywhere in supermarkets. I don't believe that some of them make fake products, because we have 1,400 million population, and camels, the number quite limited, and also production of camel milk is quite limited. So that's not enough for the population. And if Pakistan would like to export, I think this is a good chance. I think your camel milk the quality is much better than China's. Also, the production, the quantity of production of each camel is almost 4 or 5 times than Chinese camels.
Yes,
what is the reason for that?
You have only one, what you call
hump.
One hump, and Chinese 2 hump. And one hump every period they can produce 4 to 5 times than the 2 humps.
2 humps, yes.
I
that's
didn't
the difference.
know that.
That's the difference.
Dr. Sajid,
and that's absolutely right. Like as you mentioned the figures about the demand of the camel milk in China, it's a huge demand. And if you know that in Pakistan, in interior part of Sindh called Thar, all area, the local people, they are using camel for different purposes, and they are using camel milk not only for their own purposes, they are even sending and selling throughout the regional areas. But similarly, in Inner Mongolia in China, there's a huge demand. The people, they are very close to the similar kind of things. As Professor Chen mentioned, like our camel milk is having more nutritions and energy in terms of like second 2 humps camel, and also yield. Healthy, like in fact that case. And if the products, but the point is, like the people, they don't have awareness of using the camel milk or its dairy products made of camel milk. If the people, they know about it, about the awareness, the importance of the camel milk and its dairy products, if it is genuine, it's real, that's definitely very nutrition and protein wise is absolutely fine, same as the cow milks products, but the difference is the low price. Because camel milk price is much lower than the normal ordinary cow milk price.
In Pakistan?
In Pakistan, it's not the norm to drink camel
It's
milk.
not because the people don't prefer.
And we have
drink.
so much cow milk.
Then why don't you export to China?
This is because
This
China
is what
has a
we're going
huge
to talk
demand.
about.
Of
Yeah,
the
we
cow
have
milk.
a, no, if this is true, genuine
Yes.
camel milk, then I would like to buy, I would like to taste. And I
So we
would
have to
This is-
export it.
This is
And
what
there
the
is-
reason I
I've got a
said
story here.
people need to create awareness. They haven't tasted.
Yeah,
If they don't taste, they don't know what is
Better
it.
just export.
Yes, yes, export.
So I've got a story here. In Shenzhen, there is a lady who is 41, and her husband was outside on duty for 3 months. Then this lady takes camel milk regularly, morning 1 cup and evening 1 cup. And the husband came back and I felt so surprised. My wife is about 10, 15 years younger, so she looks like 30, 25, 30. So that is the effect of taking regular.
Professor Chang, if on television in Chinese media, if this one single line, if you drink camel milk, you will be younger 10 years earlier, younger, you can't imagine everybody will rush to buy the camel milk.
Yeah.
So then we have to work on this cooperation.
Exactly.
So this is reported by Chinese media.
Wow.
And also his
So
son.
this
His
is-
son follows her mother. Also every day 2 cups, morning 1 cup,
Yes.
evening 1 cup. And this boy, is at least 3 centimeters.
So the people who are using
3
it,
centimeters taller?
Yeah, taller.
How old is he?
She is about 10 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is what we are talking about, that the people exactly they don't know what is the importance of the camel milk, and if we give them the importance and we give them the advantages of the camel milk, I think it's a huge demand. In Pakistan, if we export it to China, it's a huge market.
So this could be, what could be the cooperation mechanism, Professor Chung?
Because Pakistan camels, the quality better than Chinese, and the Chinese camels are mainly, from the farms, and maybe your camels are from the
Wild.
field, wild. So wild always better, than those from farms. And in farms, we have to also one point we have to pay attention. The materials, the food the camels eat should be natural. If it's something chemical, that also affect the quality of the milk. And in Pakistan, everything is, I think, organic. Organic. You have organic camel milk, and if you say you remain organic and export to China, I think you will have a good market, very good
Yes.
market.
So this
business
is
in China.
something that we should be working on, because
Exactly.
it's surprising to see how popular
It is.
in China
Like
now.
I talked about the third area. It's like a huge area, of course, in Pakistan. But those people, they are, spending their life like a kind of poverty, and they don't have resources. So if we, like you're talking about the collaboration and cooperation between Pakistan and China, if Chinese companies, those who are interested to import the camel milk, they move to Pakistan, and especially in the Sindh area, they move some kind of technology where they can have a proper farming systems of the camel and their production of the camel milk, of their preserves and the quality maintenance, and those people, because they don't have those kind of technology areas now. They don't know how to breed camels even properly.
So those people can
Right.
sell the milk from their camel
Exactly,
to
and they
some
can earn
plant.
more.
Yeah.
Their lifestyles can be better if they sell out that camel milk, or they work into those areas and export to other countries. So that's why, and secondly, we need to create awareness of making the productions of the camel milk into the dairy forms, dairy products. If the dairy products like cheese, butter and other kind of stuff, we made it from the camel milk and introduce into the market locally as internationally in China or other countries, huge potential.
So with that, I think genuinely there's a lot of potential for cooperation. We already know that Pakistan has made a historic decision, milestone achievement when it comes to the Diamer-Basha Dam. Obviously now we're focusing on renewable energy as well, which will be great for the economy and for the environment. And if we can have further cooperation in agriculture products, identifying new potential avenues of cooperation is another thing that we try to bring to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you to both of our panelists for their insightful comments. Until next time, goodbye.